Now we move on to our next news. In Guinea-Bissau, uncertainty looms following a military coup that has shaken the capital. Residents are left wondering what tomorrow holds after the military declared total control over the country. The armed forces have suspended the ongoing electoral process, closed borders, and imposed a curfew, following claims of a plot to destabilize the nation. Let's listen in to how residents have reacted.
Moi, j'ai entendu le tir là. Quand j'ai entendu le tir, j'ai concentré. Je crois que c'est normal parce que c'est le problème des élections.
Sim. A expectativa era para poder amanhã saber quem ganhou as eleições. Na véspera das eleições, esse ambiente, de facto, já volta um clima de medo para toda a gente. Quem está em Bissau nesse momento fica a pensar o que é que poderá acontecer. Essa noite, como é que será amanhã? E, portanto, voltamos a uma situação a pensar em guerras, em correria. Cada salve-se quem puder, é muito complicado.
De facto, espantoso. Não percebi. Foi tudo para esclarecer. Mas não ouvi de um autoproclamado, autodenominado comitê militar estranho para nós. Porque as eleições já concluíram. Eleições que têm um vencedor.
In Guinea-Bissau, the military has announced it has seized power. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Ayanuga Olugbengapol. He's a public affairs analyst, joins us live from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for joining us again. Good to see you. Thank you. Now moving on to this topic of Guinea-Bissau and coming in, what is the situation in Guinea-Bissau after this reoccurring coup? And it's, if I remember correctly, the last one happened recently as well, after 2018. And what's the fragility of the democracy or the government institution in Guinea-Bissau now?
Well, Guinea-Bissau has always been very fragile from year to year. I mean, for a very long time, we've been seeing coups and counter-coups, and this speaks to the dissatisfaction by the people and the military brass also, because before the military moves, they always weigh the atmosphere, the political temperature, the social temperature of the people to see if they will be well received, if their intervention will be well received by the people. And I think that has been what is happening for a while in Guinea-Bissau, where successive political office holders forget the fact that if people are not satisfied with their rulership, it gives an excuse for the military to intervene. And so every now and then, they keep going back on the same loop. But I hope that the takeover by the military is just temporary, because you know that the recent election that is being counted is marred by a lot of irregularities, and as a result of that, and of course the candidates that some certain people were hoping would emerge and rescue them from the challenge, especially the economic challenge due to unemployment and the disillusionment that the people have with the government, is not happening. So, but on the old West African scale, the issue of coup and successive coups across 3 previous West African states, and now Guinea-Bissau joining as the 4th one, is sending a dangerous signals to other democracies in West Africa who are not listening to the plight, to the complaints of their people, who are thinking, oh, nothing can happen, we can do whatever we like and get away with it. And I think that many of the West African neighbors who are condemning this coup are not condemning it holistically because they feel the coup is bad for the people, but because they don't want that same thing to happen in their own country. That is the reason why they are trying to condemn it. But I just hope that we will all be able to sit tight and help our countries to get away from this loop of government disruption through coups.
Right. That I would like to thank Mr. Ayanaga Paul for sharing that insight as we stay on this topic now. Please stay with us as we come back to you. Now we stay on Guinea-Bissau. The military has announced that it has seized power, citing a plan to destabilize the country involving both national politicians and foreign drug barons. The High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order claims that this plan included attempts to manipulate the electoral process and involved the discovery of war weaponry in response. The military has removed President Embalo from office, the ongoing electoral process has been halted, and a curfew has been imposed. Let's listen into what was said.
Instaurado pela alta chefia de diferentes ramos das Forças Armadas, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública acaba de assumir a plenitude dos poderes do Estado da República da Guiné-Bissau. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública decide depor imediatamente o Presidente da República, encerrar até a novas ordens todas as instituições da República da Guiné-Bissau. Suspender imediatamente o processo eleitoral em curso. Encerrar a fronteira terrestre, marítimo, espaço aéreo nacional.
Then gunfire was reported near key government buildings prior to the announcement, but there has been no immediate reports of casualties. Guinea-Bissau has faced numerous coups since its independence in 1974. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Ayanaga Olugbenga Paul. He's a public affairs analyst, joins us live from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for joining us again and staying with us. Thank you. Now, as you look, continuing our discussion on Guinea-Bissau, what are the potential and regional implications for the West Africa of this reoccurring coup in Guinea-Bissau? And do you think that, as you said that before this military did kind of test the waters to see how will people or how supportive will the people be of them taking over, what has the reaction been on the ground?
Well, the people are on the one side excited because it depends on who you ask. The political class who are hoping to return to office, who have won election, and their immediate cronies will definitely not be happy. But majority of the masses always see military intervention as a relief because of the disillusionment that they have had with the political class. But on the wider West African-wide effect is that other military in other West African countries who are looking in the corner, checking the temperature of their various countries, they are taking a cue. They are saying, okay, it's successful in Burkina Faso, it's successful in Mali, it's successful in Niger, now it is successful in Guinea-Bissau. And so all of them are biding their time. And this will make many of the democratically elected governments, especially in states where they are not doing well, to be paranoid because they are always now having to watch their shoulder for any attempt by the military brass to take over. In my own country, there was a military coup scare recently around October that was alleged to have led to the shake-up in the leadership of the military in the country. And so there are many other West African countries like that who are now sitting on a ledge right now, who are paranoid and afraid that the military in their country might want to make a move anytime. And of course, there are lots of military formations in lots of other countries now who are emboldened by the success recorded by these four countries' military to say, maybe we should try it all out. But on the long run, this would affect governance in many states negatively, because rather than face issue, every issue will now be seen from the prism of politicking, the fear of military takeover and whatnot, and that will derail the attention from proper governance in many West African countries. But on the ground in Guinea-Bissau, a lot of the masses are actually happy with the development. Whether they will still remain happy after 6 months is left to be seen.
Right. And what are the potential regional implications of this latest coup for West African stability, particularly regarding ECOWAS and AU responses?
Well, the responses by ECOWAS, their action and inaction, especially right now, is showing a more weakened ECOWAS, a more ineffective ECOWAS that cannot put its house in order. And over time, because of the politicization of the African Union for a while now, a lot of terrible things are happening that you just see them back, but they can't bite. That is the AU and ECOWAS. But if they can find a way to mediate truce in the case of Guinea and hopefully reverse the situation in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, even if it requires allowing the military leader to now transition into democratic elected government, like the case of LCC in Egypt, then they would be able to regain back their strength, their voice in the affair of things truly in West Africa and the African subcontinent.
And how do you think how can Guinea-Bissau rebuild public trust in governance?
Well, first and foremost, the public in Africa do not look for plenty things from government. They are just looking for the basics: food on their table, good health care. And many of these countries, especially countries like Guinea-Bissau that has large oil deposit, many of the deals that have been done by previous government with international stakeholders, international players, is what is putting the economy in shambles, so much so that despite the massive resources they have on the ground, they are now a beggarly state. If the government can find a way to redo agreements, don't tell those people you have had agreements with to go to blazes just because it wasn't your government they had the agreement with, but try to renegotiate so that it will be a win-win for both your government and those people, and so that you'll be able to unlock more money into the country, and make sure that as you are unlocking those money into the country, you are doing the basic necessity that the people need: health, good road, school, and availability of food. The masses are okay, and once you take that out of, in fact, the masses will be singing praises of the government, and they want the government to remain in perpetuity. So if the present government, either the military or it returns back to democracy, can be able to decode that and get the masses on their side, then there will be peace. And once there is peace, you can now think properly out of the box on how to, rejuvenate the economy on a macro level, not micro level again.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Ayanaga Olukbenga-Paul for joining us today as a public affairs analyst from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much. Now we move on to Kenya. Kenya's Trade Minister Lee